everyone. Most welcome to our video today. We're going to look at something interesting, a conversation that is very pivotal and important for most people to engage in before you dive deep into this whole concepts of blockchain, crypto, and everything therein. We're going to ask ourselves a fundamental question, and the question is going to be, what is the internet? Have you ever stood for a moment and asked yourself, what exactly is the internet? I'm not talking about the applications. I'm not talking about the websites. I'm not talking about TikTok. I'm not talking about WhatsApp. I'm not talking about Google. But the internet itself, where did it come from? Who built it? What problem was it originally designed to solve? Because if we understand the origin of the internet, we begin to understand why Web 1 happened, why Web 2 became so powerful, why Web 3 is not just the future, but it is the next chapter in the story that has always been unfolding. This gives you a perfect picture and idea. So today, let's open the curtain and step into that story. Yes, so long before the internet existed, long before computers became personal, human beings had one deep desire. The desire was to share knowledge across distance. For thousands of years, we sent messages on horses, through handwritten letters, through telegrams, radio waves. We always wanted one thing, and that was connection. The internet did not begin with machines. It began with a dream that one day information would move freely, instantly, and without being blocked by borders of government or distances. Every great technology begins as a dream. The internet was exactly that, nothing. So let's dive back. In the 1960s, in the late 1960s, during the Cold War, the United States had one big fear. What if communication networks were destroyed in war? Was the question. So scientists began building a system with a new idea. The idea was, what if information could find its own path, even if parts of the network were destroyed? Can information find its own path, regardless of the after effects of the Cold War? Can information still be finding its own path and existent? Can we protect information for the next generation? So now that backed the project called the ARPANET. The ARPANET was backed. That was the first spark, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't beautiful, it wasn't global, it wasn't fast, but it had one magical idea. One computer could share information like a human sends a letter, but instantly. One computer, all computers. By then, 1960. So this was the seed. The internet had been born, but it was still a baby. It had been born, but still a baby. So by the late 1980s, now this is fast forward 20 years later, computers could talk to each other, but humans still couldn't use it easily. There were no websites, there were no browsers. There was now an established communication between computers, but there was no way for a normal person to access information. Then came one man, Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist working at CERN, CERN, CERN. He looked at the messy technical internet and asked a simple question. Yes, how can we make information accessible to everyone, not just us scientists? That question alone changed humanity as we know it. Tim created the first website. Tim created the idea of linked documents. Tim created the concept of pages, the HTTP protocol, the first browser. But what he actually created was a new digital world. It was a new world altogether. This is fast forward 20 years later, from 1960s to now 1980s, coming to the 90s. So he transformed a technical network into something humans could use. He made the internet personal. He built the foundation of Web 1. This happened in 1991. That is 33 years ago almost. And yet, it changed everything. It changed interaction. Like, it changed everything. Talk about it. We're going to look at it deeply as we go through because we're going to discuss all these things to the tiny, nitty-gritty detail. So websites were not created for entertainment. No. They were not for social media. They were not for shopping. Websites were created for one purpose. Listen to the problem they're solving: to share information openly with the entire world. But someone in the United States of America can share information with someone deep down in Uganda, in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Australia, in Germany, in France, without having to travel, send a horse, or take days. Instant. That's the power of the internet. It was about removing the barriers of information access. So imagine how revolutionary this was. Because before websites, if you wanted knowledge, you needed books, teachers, libraries, or newspapers. But now, anyone with a computer could read anything from anywhere, guys. Look at that. This was the first time in human history that knowledge became borderless. Websites were created because humanity finally had a tool to fulfill its oldest dream, which is instant access to information. When you need to know something, can you have it instantly at the tip of your finger? So then next, fast forward, we start to see a migration that moved from offline to online. So the more people connected, the more they wanted to connect, the more they connected. We started uploading text, then images, then videos, then our identities, then our businesses, the entire lives, our entire lives started to be on the internet. So you could literally have information about something in video format, image format, identities, business, like entirely. The journey from offline to online was not forced, it was natural, guys. Very natural. So humans follow convenience, and internet made life better. Faster communication, instant information, global connection, a voice for everyone. This shifted, this shift created Web 1 and later on Web 2. But at its core, it was simply human beings doing what humans always do, like moving forward, moving toward whatever connects us more deeply. That's it. Where we feel connected. Human beings love to feel loved, feel connected, love not to feel alone. So the modern internet we know today, the one built by Tim Berners-Lee, it's about 33 years old. Think about it. A 33-year-old human is still young, but also old enough to have evolved, matured, or changed. Imagine the dreams you had when you were 10 are not the same dreams you had when you were 20, are not the same dreams and aspirations you have when you were 30. So here we're talking about a 33-year-old technology. Can you just imagine the evolutions and changes it has had to go through and it is going through? Technology is the same, and anything that reaches 30 plus years, naturally, it goes through versions, guys. Cars evolved, phones evolved, electricity evolved, the internet also evolved from Web 1. Web 1 was the read-only internet. Web 2, as we normally describe it, was the read and write. And we're going to see how all these evolutions merge, what questions were in human beings. Whereas Web 3 introduced the read, write, and own. We're going to see all this. So the internet isn't old enough now that we can look back and see its evolution and look forward to see where it's going. Because when the internet was born, it tried to solve one problem. How can we give humanity access to information without needing gatekeepers? This single idea changed the world because once you remove gatekeepers from information, boom, new industries appear, new online education, online business, online communities, digital identity, digital economies. Every innovation we have to do grew from solving a problem. But now we face a new problem. The problem is who owns the information? This is why Web 3 exists to answer the new challenge created by Web 2. So anyway, many people hear Web3 and think NFTs, many people think of crypto, many people think of wallets, many people think of blockchain, but Web3 didn't come from crypto. It came from the evolutionary journey. It came from that chain, that evolution that happens every span of 5 to 10 years. The technology keeps evolving. It came from that evolutionary journey of the internet. You don't understand where the internet came from. You don't. You cannot understand where it's going. If you don't understand where it came from, you cannot. Like you can't. The internet is not just technology, guys. It's humanity expressing its desire to connect, to share, to create, to collaborate, and most importantly, to own, to have control. Once you see this clearly, Web3 stops being confusing. It becomes the natural next chapter. Oh, okay, yeah. So as we move into the next lessons, I want you to carry one idea with you. The internet is not a machine. It's a story. It's a human story. Web 1 told the story of information. Web 2 told the story of interaction. Web 3 tells the story of ownership. When you understand the past of the internet, you become ready to understand its future and ready to take your place in that supposed future. We are only getting started. Only getting started. All right. See you in our next video where we shall go deeper into Web 1, we shall go deeper into Web 2, we shall go deeper into all these concepts. All right. See you. Concepts. All right.